Williamson's first NBA game, San Antonio Spurs. Let's break the film down the same way Pelicans coaches might be watching with Zion. Let's get first half right away, and then we'll come back to the second half in a future video. First of all, first play of the game, Alvin Gentry draws up a little back pick play for Zion right here, trying to get him a lob to the rim. Bryn Forbes does a great job taking that away, switching on a Zion right here. But the threat of that is really what opened up Derek Favors on the roll, because Aldridge has to go in and stop the ball, and since Bryn Forbes is so concerned about Zion right here, here's Derek Favors coming right behind to get a layup. Nice, just showing you the impact Zion could have as a lob threat that Alvin Gentry can draw up after timeout plays, first play of the game for. Here you see Zion on defense, guarding Trey Lyles. Lyles isn't having any plays run for him. Zion's doing a good job here. You see him 2-9ing, making sure taps in the paint, but then gets both feet out, so he doesn't get called for a defensive 3 seconds. But then, just a little thing again here. You got to make sure, as Aldridge goes up for the shot, turn around, find your man, hit Lyles. As you see here, Lyles is going to sprint pretty much right past Zion and would have had the putback if Aldridge didn't make that shot. Coming down offense now. This is where Zion could be most dangerous. Rim running, he did a great job running to the basket early, and that's what allows him sometimes. Now you see Forbes isn't back, and so Zion has the smaller Forbes matched up on him initially. Now he draws two defenders when Lyles has to come in and help, and kicks it out to Holiday for pretty much a wide-open three. That's a great shot created by Zion running the floor hard. Now you see him here posting up against Lyles. This is where not as effective. I talked about in his draft study, he doesn't really have a tremendous size advantage, weight advantage, sure, but Trey Lyles isn't even one of the best, or anywhere near one of the best 4 defenders in the league. But even he is tall enough, basically, where Zion isn't going to attack him in the post. Zion doesn't have a whole lot of moves right now. What he goes to instead is the uphill action, trying to dribble handoff with a guard, Ingram or Holiday here. Ingram ends up back cutting. Zion makes a decent pass to find him. Extra pass gets Lonzo a relatively open 3. But again, just showing the difference between Zion having a big man matched up on him and versus the early post-ups against Smalls is really when he's at his best. Here we see Zion set a side drag. The Spurs icing every side pick and roll, meaning sending it to the baseline. Zion does a nice job staying in the pocket right here so that Lonzo can deliver the pass. But then, again, just something that comes from time and experience. KYP, know your personnel. Derek Favors, even though he's spotting up in the corner, he's the type of guy, not much of a shooter. He's going to be diving, cutting to the basket. If Zion had led him to the basket, obviously that's a dunk for him right here. He was expecting, Favors to still be in the corner. Just something, again, you get with time and with experience. Again, just a little thing here, just one, minor concern. Obviously, I'm nitpicking because there's not a whole lot of plays in 8 minutes in the first half. But, Zion's matched up on Trey Lyles here, right? So if Forbes comes up, okay, he might have to take him on the closeout. But I'm not even sure Zion realized that Trey Lyles, who was his man initially, is going to cut and would have an offensive rebound if it wasn't a rebounder like Lonzo down there. Thankfully, Lonzo, is a great rebounder, good box-out guy. You see him do a great job on Lyles there, so we're fine. Just talking about, again, little things that Zion just has to make sure he gets down pat. Again, you see, though, Lyles crashing the offensive glass is going to create a big mistake, honestly, for the Spurs, because now Zion has Forbes matched up on him. He's going to early post him. Aldridge is going to come from behind a double team. Now look at this read. That's special. That was his best play probably the first half. Again, you got to read the floor so quickly right here to turn, realize the double team's coming from the baseline. You got 2 on you right here. Turn, see Ingram cutting, fire that left hand zip pass, lead him right to the basket. Pop calls timeout. Really nice play from Zion there. After timeout play, again, just something I like looking at. How does Alvin Gentry plan to use him after timeouts? We saw this a lot in the preseason. In the last Zion video I did, the McGetty cut. So basically, the 5-man's going to roll hard on the pick and roll. Zion's the 4, and the McGetty cut is basically Zion lifting up at the same time as this and basically making it a live cut from the corner pretty much to the elbow. And a lot of times you'd see Zion coming up and get this ball on the run. I'm honestly not even sure. Lonzo might have been trying to throw it to him here. I think he was. But Favors just happened to kind of be in the way, on his roll. Made this play look a little awkward. But either way, again, it's a good use of Zion. Lonzo maybe just got rid of that ball a little too early there. Zion, nevertheless, is able to put the ball down, hop, get a pretty wide open look at the rim, just doesn't get the roll. Defensively, you see him here again, does a nice job chasing Lyles as they run the pick and roll, but then Favors is going to switch onto Lyles, and Zion does a good job peeling back to Aldridge, getting the block out on Aldridge. Nice, complete defensive possession there. It's another interesting thing to watch for. How does Zion space the floor? That was one of my concerns about him. So you see San Antonio again here, icing side pick and rolls. Zion's the 4 on the weak side. One thing I really liked about what Zion was doing, he's not a huge spot-up guy. He's not just going to stand in the corner waiting for his 3, since that's not really his game. But he did a really good job staying active, kind of bouncing around right here. You see him always kind of maneuvering near the rim, so just enough that, Trey Lyles usually would be the guy that would come over here and try to help on this roll by Favors. And since he's just worried enough about Zion up in this spot, instead of being, in the corner where he can't really shoot, they did a good job hiding Zion right about here in these open gaps so that Lyles has to be concerned about him, which opens up Favors for the roll. Here we see Zion set a drag in transition. Again, just a little thing. Can't let the defender go under the screen. Have to know that the Spurs plan to shoot the gap there against Etuan Moore. Now, this is what I really liked. Again, seeing Zion's just activity offensively, right? So not a spot-up shooter, but when the ball's driven into this gap right here, look at Zion, back cut. That makes his man not be able to stay. If Zion had just stayed here spotting up, Trey Lyles would have been able to get right in the way of this and take this away. Zion does a great job cutting, which you see makes Lyles concerned about him on the back door. And now Alexander Walker's able to find the open man. Just doesn't make a good read out of it. Again, high pick and roll with Zion at the 4 spot. You see him again, not sticking himself in the deep corner, usually up in this spot right here. And now look at this. This is big time too. Another one of his best plays of the half. There's so few guys in the NBA right now who are really real offensive rebounding threats. Look at him just throw Lyles off of him basically. Swim move around, go get the ball. Great hands, great finish at the rim for his first NBA basket. Congratulations, Zion Williamson, first of many. Really nice effort on the offensive glass. That's a huge skill set that can get him 4 easy points a game right there on offensive rebounding. Transition, offensive rebounding, hustle plays. A lot of easy ways to get 10, 15 points right away. Again, you see the side pick and roll. Zion's on the weak side. In the way a little bit. So again, this is just the impact you see. Look how clogged the paint is, right, when you have especially Zion who's not a shooter. So that's one of the concerns about him, right? And Lyles is able to kind of muck this up and get in the way, and there's a lot of bodies in the paint for the Spurs. But again, I will give Zion credit here. Look at him cutting underneath the basket right there. That's really what opens up the floater for Alexander Walker. If Zion just stays where he is, again, Lyles can probably go, Pirtle can go contest this shot. Zion, by cutting underneath the defense, staying active, staying on the move, is going to get out of the way, and Alexander Walker is going to have that space that he needs then to get to the floater. Look at this effort defensively here, blowing up the dribble handoff with Lyles. That's big-time effort. When he's in a stance like that and hustling like that, that's a scary look at what he can be and can do defensively. Better screen that time. Nice, good job getting a piece of Bellinelli on the side drag for Moore. Now, what's wide open? Alexander Walker in the corner. I think Zion knows it. He just misread this badly. Derek White obviously stops right there. Zion makes the mistake of leaving his feet. Got to just know on these short rolls, you basically can't leave your feet until you're absolutely sure there's not somebody there waiting to take a charge. Because right now, this pass got to be to the corner. Pretty easy read. Zion will get it, get better. Pick and roll chemistry. Again, comes with time, comes with practice. Hasn't had a whole lot of that. So yes, I understand, not faulting him terribly. Things that they'll show him and work on. The Spurs icing high pick and rolls too, trying to force them away from the screen. So you see here, Drew Holiday, such a vet, such a crafty player. I think what he was expecting here, he went to this crossover thinking that Zion would still be there. So even though Mills is in an ice, Holiday tried to cross it back to his right hand, expecting that right here, Zion would be there for him to hit him on the pick and roll. Zion got out of there a little too early, in my opinion, so that now there's no screen set. Holiday still ends up getting the basket, pretty reasonable look. Again, little things come with time, come with experience playing together. This, this can't happen. This is on Zion. This is a good read by Derek White. To recognize, obviously, Zion's a little bit out of shape. Obviously, it takes time to get your conditioning and your wind back. But this is Zion's man. Basically, he's going to set this brush screen at half court. Pirtle, Zion's not even turned around, not seeing the basketball. Derek White's just going to put on the horses and get to the rim for a layup. Can't have that. This too, just again, another little example, but when Zion's in the game at the 5 spot especially, he's got to get back in the paint. They do a nice job here, hitting ahead to Patty Mills. He's going to attack the closeout. Zion, though, we call this kind of buddy running. He's running at the speed of Pirtle. He's kind of lollygagging back there with him. No, you don't run at his speed. You get your butt back in the paint, especially when he's not a shooter, so that you're down there ready to protect the rim when Mills drives right here. Looks way too easy with Zion just bouncing around at the three-point line instead of getting down in the paint where he's supposed to be. Another out-of-timeout play. Not exactly sure what this one was. It was a pin down that Zion set. And then they throw it into him in the post. But again, he doesn't have the size advantage against guys like LaMarcus Aldridge. So I'm not sure. It looked like a little bit higher of a post-up. I'm not sure if they were looking maybe for this back cut off his cut. He ends up going to the back down, and then, they do get a pretty wide-open three out of it. So, again, you just see, Zion does have a lot of gravitational pull, right, on his back downs. The Patty Mills is in there trying to get a dig, maybe more than he should be, but Zion does a great job just reading it. Easy, simple play, but seeing Patty Mills is going to come over a little bit on the dig, find Josh Hart, again, for a wide-open three. Zion created a lot of those shots just with easy, simple plays. Another thing, again, the pick and roll timing. Little issue, little thing to clean up. Spurs again in an ice, so smart read right here. You flip the screen. Instead of trying to send Holiday to his right hand, you come up, change the angle on the screen so that Holiday can go left. I think, again, that's what Holiday on this one was expecting him to do. Because White is clearly forcing him to his left hand. So Holiday looks like he's waiting for Zion to twist the screen. Instead, Zion gets out of there. Which, again, these are little things, not the biggest deal in the world. They end up moving the ball, finding a pretty open corner three. Zion does a good job diving hard to the rim. Another one of Zion's best possessions right here. You see communication first, let Lonzo through. Now, as they set this pick and roll, Zion does a good job containing the ball, containing Patty Mills, one of the most dangerous guys coming off these kind of step-up screens. Great job, stance. Great stance right there. Great closeout, under control, Aldridge, not jumping. Lonzo gets in an ice. Zion does a great job not contesting that shot. That's not his job. It's Lonzo's job to contest the shot. You see a lot of bigs make the mistake, especially young ones, contesting this shot, and then Aldridge will have a wide-open lane for the offensive rebound. Zion reads it perfectly. Lonzo's got the contest. Zion goes to hit Aldridge, and then it's his defensive rebound. And then, again, this is where he can be most scary. Pushing in transition, having the floor spread so that this is where Giannis, Ben Simmons, Siakam, guys like this at the 4 or 5 spot, that can attack, that can force a whole lot of defenders to have to come in and stop the ball. Look at this, 5 Spurs basically in the paint. Zion makes a good read, finds more. Again, another open three. They just happened to miss just about all of them in the first half with him. Thanks for watching. Make sure you thumb up, hit that subscribe button. Second half film study might be coming here, might be coming on Twitter at ScoutWithBryan. Follow Instagram, Twitter, the podcast. Make sure you got it all so you don't miss anything.